Hold up, before you get to watching this video, let me talk to you for a second. Hit that bell down below and subscribe to the Fitz Take Podcast YouTube channel so you'll know when every episode is dropping or if something has been posted on this page. Also, be sure to follow me and Elijah on our social media platforms. They will be linked down in the description. Now back to the episode.
Let's make some forward progress and go on to take number 2, and let's talk some Saints. We won't talk much because wasn't much to talk about, to be brutally honest with you, as the New Orleans Saints lose to the Los Angeles Chargers 26-8. Initially, as I was watching this ball game, I thought I was looking at a baseball game because the score was like 2-9 or something like that at one point. Uh, to be even more brutally honest, I set a timer for myself to take a quick nap, Sunday nap at halftime. I woke up and saw that they still wasn't doing nothing. I went back to sleep. Um, so the Saints now fall to 2-6 after starting the year 2-0. They've lost 6 straight, very frustrating games down the stretch, and this one just adds to the pile. So, Elijah, for you, what is the next step for the New Orleans Saints at this point in the year?
Shoot, I don't even know, man. I mean, you don't even know at this point. You drop 6 in a row. Your starting quarterback's out. The rookie quarterback that you have for the future, he doesn't look good. Uh, at this point, you signed Kamara for no reason. Because I mean, what did you just want to say? Hey, man, what it is that you want to stay for? You just want some money? Because that's what you just did. You say, hey, here's a couple dollars for you to stay. Because it's not like you're using him in the most effective way because you're not getting anything. He still can play, but you're not getting the production that you need out of him to win ball games because of the team that's around him. Defensively doesn't look good. Offensively doesn't look good. Special team that don't even look good. I mean, I'll be honest with you. So I mean, tanking is an option, but I'm not going to go that far because I don't believe in just losing on purpose. But I do believe one thing should happen, and I think hope it's a guarantee. Dennis Allen should be gone. I don't know if you should do it mid-season, near the end of the season, or after the season, but I don't want to see him next season. You don't want that man at the helm of this football team anymore. You gave him 3 years, and those 3 years of horrible, of bad football. 3 years of bad football. So, again, maybe some guys are better as coordinators. Hopefully, you get another shot of being a coordinator. But I mean, they need to start putting a chopping block on them and seeing what they can get for next year. And I think that's the only thing that I can say that can go positive for the Saints is getting rid of Dennis Allen because right now, dude, there's nothing good in New Orleans but the Super Bowl coming here in 2025. That's
And the Saints will likely not be there, which is something very frustrating because after that second game against the Cowboys, I mean everything looked extremely promising. Everybody, of course, said week one it's just the Panthers, don't sweat it. Now in hindsight, looking at that Cowboys victory, it was like, was that really important? It was kind of just two bad teams going at it, and the better bad team won out that day. But at the time, you're looking at Dallas as a potential deep playoff run, even Super Bowl contender at that time in the season. So to come out of that game to be at 2-0, you felt really good. But now, the wheels are kind of just all the way off. With Spencer Rattler being in the lineup, which he was eventually pulled, I believe, somewhere at the back half of the third quarter or start of the fourth, and replaced for Jake Hayner. The offense was just very, very vanilla. And at some point, very similar to LSU, when you couldn't get the run game really rolling, it wasn't much you could do in the pass game because you can't expand your playbook. And, um, I saw somebody tweet something and they were like, I can't believe people thought that this kid really could replace Derek Carr. And it's like, people don't understand how hard it is to really like grasp an entire concept of an NFL team, the playbook and all that. I've never been on an NFL team, but the amount of content that I consume and watching and seeing what these guys have to put in, I can only imagine what it's like trying to understand the terminology, regurgitate this stuff, and make sure 10 other guys know what they're doing. You going out and trying to make the right reads. Oh, yeah, and you got a 300-pounder that runs a 4.4 breathing down your neck every single play. I can only imagine what's that like that could be like for a rookie quarterback coming in after the starter goes down and you know you're going to be in for the foreseeable future. It's a lot of pressure. And I'm not saying that by no means am I making excuses for Spencer Rattler, but I didn't expect him to come in and necessarily be the savior of the franchise, because your playbook with Derek Carr in might be 150 plays. With Spencer Rattler, you might go down to 70, a little bit less than that maybe. Your playbook gets a little bit more vanilla, and you could tell. And the Chargers could tell, and that's why they were able to stifle the offense so much. The defense started out decently strong. Obviously, the team getting that safety after the muff punt and the ball went out of the back of the end zone, so you felt pretty good at the start. But in terms of what's next for the Saints, I think you just need to finish this season as healthy as possible. You keep playing because that's what you get paid to do, and let the chips fall where they may. Because you got 6 losses, and in the NFC right now, you got the Commanders, which we'll get into that in a second. You got the Eagles. You have the Detroit Lions, the Green Bay Packers. You've got Atlanta, and you've got Arizona. So those are 6 spots, and I think it's 7 playoff spots if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So the best you can do is get a wild card in, and it's a ton of teams right now that are like 4-4, 3-4, right there on the cusp of being on the outside. And then there's you at the bottom. The only other teams that have 2 victories are yourself and the Giants. And then after that, it's Carolina with 1 win. So I'm not saying to tank. I'm saying to go out there, compete, have a sense of pride, finish the season as strong as possible. And then once this year is over, you get back to the drawing board and you figure out what it takes to get things fixed. Unfortunately, Dennis Allen will probably take a lot of the heat, but I think that there are a lot more things that are wrong with the Saints from an organizational standpoint. Guys consistently can't stay healthy. Something needs to be said about that. Why is it that you start a season and then by the middle of it, you got 6, 7 guys out of the lineup and they stay gone either for the full season? Like, why is it that Marshawn Lattimore is in and out of the lineup with a hamstring injury? Like, at one point in the game, he went out and didn't come back. How is it that that's an issue? That's not necessarily on Dennis Allen, but he's going to take the blame for it because it's a byproduct of the wins and losses. Because you're not at full scope, because you're not at full capacity, you're going to lose games. I feel like this is just as much of an organizational thing. I think Ms. Gail Benson might need to take a good look in the mirror, figure things out with Mickey Loomis, figure things out with Dennis Allen, and just get a fresh start and see what happens in the future. Because this team had way too much potential coming into this year to be at this point where they're at now. I know the players are extremely frustrated because they're a part of this every single day. They hear all the noise. As much as they might block it out, they hear it. They're a part of it. So they're just as frustrated as any fan out there. And for fans out there that are like, oh, these guys don't really care. Man, look, these guys bleed, they sweat, they train, they put in a lot of work to try to put out a decent product out there. So by no stretch do I think that they're just out there saying, oh, we gonna wing it and see what happens. I don't think that's what's happening in that organization. But unfortunately, things are not coming together for them. But I do think they have an opportunity to get back on the win track because next week they will face off with the Carolina Panthers. It'll be a 12 o'clock kick on CBS. Their schedule from there is as follows: Panthers, Falcons, Browns, Rams, Giants, Commanders, Packers, Raiders, and Buccaneers. So it'll be interesting to see how these last 9 games shape up as the Saints fall in their 6th straight game to the Los Angeles Chargers, 26-8, moving them to 2-6 on the year.
Thank you so much for watching this clip of the Fitz Take podcast. Be sure to like this video and also subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also follow me and Elijah on our social media platforms. They will be linked down in the description. And remember, every episode of the Fitz Take podcast will air right here on the YouTube channel every Monday at 2 p.m. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.